Hey! The last digit of your like on this video by each who you are from Melon Playground, and the last digit of your subscription to my channel will show your Melon Playground item. So go down right now, subscribe and give me a like. Look at the screen. Notice the last digit of your like and your subscription and write in the comments who you are from Melon Playground. It's simple, if your like is number 8 and the last digit of your subscription is number 5, you're a lemon and a cactus. Show your imagination and enjoy the show. And hello dear friends, you are on Melonfonk channel. In this video we are going to talk about 7 new backgrounds in Melon Playground. But before the video starts, as always I want to say a huge thank you to these guys for being in my video. And if you want to be in my next video, it's pretty simple. You need to subscribe to the channel, give a like, write your top comment. Well, don't forget to subscribe to the cart, the link as always in the description. In general, I will not waste your time and enjoy your viewing. Recently, I've been thinking about how much Melon Playground depends on new updates, because the game is so compressed in its understanding and so diverse and so routine at the same time, as if there is nothing new in it. On this basis, I want to believe that Melon Playground will come to the point where updates will not be necessary, but for now we exist in Melon Playground only thanks to the work of the developers, which happens all the time, and from the updates depends in principle how much we in this game. And since the 20.0 update is on its way, and it's basically an anniversary update, I really hope that the developers will take this seriously. After all, 19.0 seems to be both unexpected and fun, but to the same extent it's a failed update, and we'll talk about that too in my future videos. I'll explain why I think so. And I would like to not so much just share the content with you, but maybe leave some kind of reference for the developers, maybe a passphrase, or that selectively they are still watching my content and I would just like to show them how the game could look like if they go about it differently. That's why today we have 7 new backgrounds in Melon Playground that will be in concept form. Maybe I can still keep the idea and stay in the history of Melon Playground for our developers. But we'll see. And let's move on to the first background, which is called the lab. I had a lot of fun working on this video, because I was basically thinking up a new game or some concepts and stories. And this story refers us to the fact that after all Melon Facegrounds are projects, labs. And melons are creatures that were born through some kind of human interaction with these objects. And so the laboratory is the legation in which our melon is supposed to reside. The melons rebelled and, after several attempts, perhaps successful or not, they were still able to break free. But freedom is relative after all, the laboratory is after all a confined space. Our melons are not free, they're just at the beginning of their journey to freedom. In general, I see such a comparison in this location. Here we can see how some broken wires from the success, let's say, of the release of our melons, all this is made in such bluish-white colors. All things that are supposed to refer us to the lab after all. I think that makes sense. Somehow it is similar to the laboratories that meet us in the main menu. And that's basically what it is. And I think it would be interesting to have something like this meet us in the chalk playground, because to make a new background is not difficult. Think there would be a video camera, flickering light, and all that. All in all, I think it would be very interesting if the developers created some kind of story like this. Perhaps after the first initial background, where we have gray squares, should be a laboratory, and then freedom. Is that when players can finalize the game themselves? Don't you think so? Write your opinion in the comments, and also write how much you appreciate this background and would like to see it in the game. But we will move on to the next background. So the next background is Mars. I think it is quite a logical story after our developers added the space map. It is after the space map we should go this map with this background. I think that it is quite logical, where there will be its own unique gravity, where melons will probably somehow die without a Cassandra. It is, for example, or where there will be various strange weather conditions, and in principle physics here will work a little differently. This background is made in reddish shades, which basically refers us to Mars. In the background we can see some other planet, maybe it's the sun. I didn't really wonder about that when creating this background. It's all quite an entourage, and maybe we should add a new character here, like the Martian. What do you think about that? I think it would be very, very interesting. It seems to me that the developers didn't pay much attention to the space theme. And Mars is the next step, don't you think? Again, write in the comments how much you appreciate this background and how much you like the concept in principle. And let's move on to the next one. The next background we have is called a cave, and this background is as much my favorite as it is cool in concept. I think it would be interesting if Melon got into a narrow space, and maybe the map would be changed a little bit, and it would be a bit bumpy too, and then this background would have some charm of its own. Maybe it's not so much beautiful as it is cool in concept. The cave. It's cool just as an idea, agree. Perhaps I did not realize it so beautifully, but still very cool and interesting. Don't forget to give your opinion in the comments and how well you rate each map. Just write on each map your evaluation and which map you like the most. Well, let's move on to the next background. But the next background is called the Middle Ages, and perhaps this background is not so much beautiful as it is actually interesting in its history. For example, Melon became a test subject for a time machine study and was accidentally thrown back tens of thousands of years. Now Melon got into a story where he has to survive in the conditions of really some wild, possibly terrible time period where there are conditional I don't know knights and I don't know dragons, maybe if it is connected with fantasy, although Melon is also a part of fantasy, so there could be dragons, why not? And then it would be quite a complete beautiful story. Basically, the background is done in such gray, probably somewhere ruined colors. What I'm talking about in principle ruined colors, it sounds kind of surreal, but I'm saying that in principle we can see that the colors are gray, depressing picture, and we already see some ruins in the background, which is very cool I think and interesting. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comments, but we'll move on to the next background, which to be honest I like the most. This background is called darkness, and I think it would be very if the developers had added something so stylish, really just beautiful. Look at it, really dark everywhere, some kind of back glow. It would be cool if the developers added a dynamic glow in the background, that is, there would be some, let's say, the effect of the fact that behind is a light, or rather the source of this light. Perhaps the developers added cool shadows for our Melon, why not too? I think it would be very interesting and cool. Basically, this background is just very beautiful in itself, and really I just like it so much, not so much the idea of it, but really it just looks beautiful and interesting. Be sure to leave your opinion in the comments and write a rating for this background. And the next background is one that I like quite a bit. And this background is called The Artist, because the background itself is a picture really on it, look at it and want to keep looking at it all in pleasant bluish shades. Would be cool that the clouds had their own animation. For the most part it is a water background because we see some kind of construction on the water columns, which is made in really interesting pleasant shades that want to observe, and it really does not repel and want to really just spend time on this background. Special idea or history in this background is not, but in terms of its style it is not badly executed, my opinion. And it's a background called Mine, and it's probably on par with the darkness today. I like it the most. It's a really nice, and it's a cool background in concept. You can see how it's really just nice, and just really like the idea is really quite interesting as well. The cool dynamic lighting that's in the background. Atmospheres, and in principle it would be very cool to be in the game when just such an atmosphere on the map is here. We see in nice warm colors and a very interesting structure, for example an abandoned old train or wagon that would transport our old metal ores, and in the background we can see a cave branching some hole where we go further. What's inside, we will never know. And that certain mystery is just actually very appealing to me personally. Again, write your opinion in the comments, which background you like the most. Well, this is the end of my video. Thank you all for watching, good luck to everyone, bye bye, and remember buddy, as always, I'll see you the other day.